today. I'm at Woodlawn Memorial Park Gardens in Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm across from the main section where the funeral home is, and people like Tammy Wynette and George Jones and different ones that are buried over there. But on the opposite side of the road is still part of their cemetery, and there's somebody here that had a big deal with country music, and I wanted to show you who that is. It's a man that was nicknamed the country music gentleman, as well as being called Mr. Country Music. And he's buried in the section of Graceland here at the cemetery. And I'm going to show you just how close he is to that sign his gravesite is. There's no dead tree, and I'm surprised the recent storms that's been hitting this area hasn't taken that down. But here is the first marker that is next to that sign. But anyway, I'm going to walk back a few places till we see the one that we're needing. And if you're actually counting back, it looks like you're going to see it at the third row. And I'm walking in between the grave sites here, and we'll go around to the front so you can see the real name easy. Once again, there's your sign. That's the mark for it. And come back 3 rows, you're going to see, I guess that would be called the headstone for the 2 graves. And I'm going to walk in between the graves and give you a closer look at that headstone so you can see. And it says Foley. This is the headstone and gravesite of Clyde Julian Red Foley, as he was called, and his second wife. And Red Foley, as he was called, had that nickname because of his color of his hair. So I don't guess I even have to tell you that meant his hair was red, or reddish in color, I should say. And as the country music world knew him more by Red than they would have Clyde, I just am glad they have got the nickname there in parentheses on it. And if you're looking close at the marker, you'll see that he died at the very young age of 58. And it is said that he died, and I believe it was Fort Wayne, Indiana, but it was Indiana. And he had a performance that evening or that night. And a couple of people that was on that performance with him was Billy Walker and Hank Williams Jr. And Red Foley was big friends with Hank Williams Sr., I might add. Another thing that I read about before coming to do this video and all, I like to kind of do a little details on the people that I'm videoing. It said that Hank Williams Jr. made the comment that Red didn't seem quite himself that night. He didn't seem as active or anything. And then it made a comment that they said Billy Walker made the comment that he came to his, I don't know if it was his dressing room or hotel room or what, but after the performance and all, he came to his room and he had finished up singing his most popular song to me, a gospel song, Peace in the Valley. And he had asked Billy Walker, he talked to him, and while he'd asked him, do you think that a sinner like me can be saved? And then they said, Billy Walker made the remark, if I can be saved, you know, that Red could be saved. Another thing is that Billy Walker had made the comment that they ended up saying a prayer together that night too. And one more thing about Hank Williams Sr. and Jr. combination. I guess Hank Williams Jr. is the one that asked him, but when Hank Williams Sr. passed away, Red Foley would sing at Hank Williams Sr.'s funeral, Peace in the Valley. And I'm going to show you the grave that is next to Red Foley's grave, and that is of his second wife, Eva Foley. But she also had a solo career herself, and she went by the name of Judy Martin, if you're interested in looking up anything on her. Another thing is that she is also the mother of one of his famous daughters, or the daughter that married a famous person, maybe better to say. That is Shirley Foley, and she ended up marrying Pat Boone. And Red Foley would go on to marry a third time as Judy or Eva, whichever you'd like to call her, would end up dying at 34, and his first wife had died during childbirth. And as I mentioned, Judy and Red's daughter, Shirley, would end up marrying Pat Boone. And Pat Boone was real famous as a singer himself, and owned his own show for a while on TV. And they had a daughter, well, a couple of daughters, but stands out in my mind, one of theirs went on also to become a singer, and that was Debbie Boone. So the granddaughter of Red Foley, Debbie Boone, she's known for a real popular song, You Light Up My Life, and I really did like that when it first came out. Still play it occasionally. While we're looking at Red's marker here, I want to mention a couple of more things that kind of interested me when I was reading about him and looking up details before coming to film it. And that is, it was said that he was the first country performer to record in Nashville. I mean, he wasn't the first country music performer to sing or whatever, but they said to be the one to record in Nashville. He's also, which is no surprise to me, been inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame and was a member of the Grand Ole Opry. But I guess it kind of surprised me a little bit. He has, since he died at so young of an age, that he is on the has a star on Hollywood Walk of Fame. And since I told you he is buried by his second wife, I will mention that his third wife was a radio and TV entertainer, and her name was Sally Sweet. I always like to give a little bit of personal detail because people are always interested where they died, where they're buried, maybe where they were born at. And I will mention that Red Foley was born in Blue Lick, Kentucky. He died, of course, after a performance in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and he's buried here in Nashville, Tennessee at the Woodlawn Memorial Park Cemetery. He was a singer, a songwriter, a musician, as he could play the guitar and banjo. He was a radio and TV host, and he even done a couple of acting parts. It is said that Red Foley was a very dedicated to the country music and the old style country music performances, and not so much as worrying about or trying to get into what some at the time was starting to call it pop music, along to, or the Nashville sound as it would eventually be called. But anyway, he did cross over into that path, even whether he would have thought about that or not. And I have to mention a couple of his songs. Mentioning a couple of his songs, I'm going to do the two that stands out the most to me. And the first one would be maybe his trademark song, they called it. It was called the Chattanooga Shoeshine Boy. And it stayed on Billboard's charts for like 13 weeks. But my favorite is one of his gospel songs. It was called Peace in the Valley. And as I mentioned earlier, it was the last song he would sing. And he also sang that at Hank Williams Jr.'s, not Hank Williams Jr., but Hank Williams Sr.'s funeral. and just take your final look at it, I'd like to say thank you so ever much for watching my video. I hope you'll consider subscribing and giving me a thumbs up. And until the next time, have a good day.